The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Game Podcast Network is brought to you by Arctic Fantasy. Get the $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at Arctic Fantasy with the promo code MLB SGPN. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Game Podcast Network. It's currently Friday afternoon, June 27th, here to break down the Saturday games. I'm your host for this episode, Scott Rochelle, going solo again for this pod. Bit of a weird week. I know we normally have a co-host with me, but unfortunately, we had a couple of, I'd say, extenuating circumstances, which is why I am going solo for this podcast. Either way, though, point is we do have a bunch of games to get into. We have 15, looking forward to them, so we're going to break all of them down. Do want to point out, though, at time of recording, we are missing two games. We are missing the lines on the Seattle-Texas game, as well as the Cubs and Astros game. So besides that, we have lines and everything. Should be fun. Of course, no baseball to talk about because there were no games going on. So either way, point is nothing to really talk about from a recap perspective on Friday. I know for the last episode, of course, that we actually had outcomes on. Did split the lock and dog, hit the over in the Mariners game. Shout out to Pop, who got destroyed out of the bullpen, and Minnesota ended up scoring a bunch of runs. So thank you to him, especially, who was really bad and helped cash the over for the full game. But either way, though, not really much else going on. Did see Griffin Canning ruptured his Achilles. He's going to be done for the year. Cal Raleigh officially is doing the home run derby, which is pretty fun. Besides that, trying to think of anything else worth talking about. Bonds is getting a statue. Good for him. He deserves one in San Francisco. And yeah, I believe Kershaw is, I want to say he's 5 away from 3,000 strikeouts, I think. But the point is he's closing in on a milestone for him. He'll be a Hall of Famer anyway. Doesn't really matter. But either way, he's closing in on one more milestone. Nothing else to really talk about, though. Not really any other, I'd say, news stories that really, I'd say, were noteworthy for me. So either way, time to move on into the games for Saturday. Before we get into the games, though, a reminder that we are having a new contest for NASCAR because the in-season tournament is happening and we're running a free contest. Head over to sportsgamepodcast.com/NASCAR contest to get in on the action for a chance to win a $200 gift card, and make sure to subscribe to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Moving on to the actual games on the card for once again Saturday, starting off with the A's taking on the Yankees. Now, for the matchup between Sears, who's actually a former Yankee, and you have Schmidt, Yankees are minus 250. You have the A's at plus 205. The over-under in them is set at about 9. Now, for the matchup itself, Sears this season has been quite underwhelming, as it does have an ERA over 5, so he's not been very good. The last couple outings for Sears, he has given up he's given up 8 runs in his last 2 starts, so once again, not exactly in great form. The A's have also not been good when he pitches, as the A's have lost, pulling it up right now, 7 of his last 8 starts. For Schmidt, though, he's been pretty good. In fact, hitter for about 7 innings last start. But either way, point is you ended up seeing him go really well for the last 3 outings, giving up no runs in his last 3 starts combined, and a decent sample of 20 2/3 innings. So Schmidt has been insane lately, and you're looking at Sears, who has not been very good. Yankees, though, have been kind of up and down lately. Did lose the series to Cincinnati, won the finale because Fried was really good again. For the game itself, though, I'll go with the Yankees minus 1.5. Schmidt's been great. Sears, I don't think is that good. And you're looking at the Yankees run line only at minus 125. I'll back Schmidt, who has been, once again, in great form. I think that he'll pitch well. And the A's, we know, have been a pretty underwhelming team, especially over the last couple of months. Give me the Yankees minus 1.5 for this one. Moving on to the Tigers hosting the Twins. For this one, you have Ober taking on Mize. The Tigers are minus 155. The Twins are plus 130. For the over-under in this game, I see it being set at 8.5. Now, Mize this season has been really good. 7-2, 2.88 ERA, 1.84 ERA at home. He has allowed less than 3 earned runs in 4 straight starts. As for Ober, really good earlier in the year. That's all I can really say, because it has gone really downhill for him over the last month. Last 4 starts, he has allowed 8 runs, 25 earned runs in his last 4 starts. It has been a mess. Actually, let me check the math on that. 23 earned runs in his last 4 starts. He's also given up an insane amount of home runs, giving up 10 home runs in his last 4 starts. Ober has fallen off a cliff. I want nothing to do with him in this game. Detroit is a great team based on record. Mize has been good too. Minus 145 for the money one, I think could be interesting. I prefer the run line at plus 135 for Detroit. I think that Ober at this point is kind of an auto fade territory. I think you're looking at a spot where I got to keep fading Ober until he turns it around, especially against the Detroit, who's been really good at home this season, as the Tigers are 28-13 at home. Minnesota is 17-25 on the road. Give me Mize and the Tigers minus 1.5 for this game as well. Moving on to the next game on the card. Looking at another one. Going to look at the Mets and the Pirates game. For this one, you have Blackburn against Burrows. For this one, Mets are minus 155. The Pirates are plus 130. And the over-under in this game is set at around 9. Now, Burrows was having a decent run until last start because he ended up getting shelled. Ended up going 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs against the Rangers. Then he got a bullpen appearance on Wednesday. So assuming he actually starts this game, he would be an opener. So I'm assuming he'll go probably 2 innings, if that, for this one. So it might be a bullpen game for Pittsburgh. As for the Mets, Blackburn has not been good at all. 0-2, 6.62 ERA. He has given up at least 3 earned runs in 4 straight outings. So not ideal for Blackburn. For the game itself, look, the Mets are their team. We know the Pirates stink. Having said that, minus 155 with Blackburn is not appealing at all. I would go with the Pirates team total over, but that implies I have faith in Pittsburgh to actually hit the damn ball. I think I have to go with that. I don't trust Burrows. I don't know how many innings he's going to actually go, and the fact is he only went 2 1/3 a couple days ago. So Burrows should be an opener. I don't want to deal with Pittsburgh as a whole, but for the first 5, I don't mind a team total. I'll fade Blackburn. Said before, he's given up 3 earned in 4 straight outings. So I don't mind going with Pittsburgh first 5 team total over potentially. Could be plus money in that game. But I do think instead of actually trying to back the Pirates to win a game for once, I'll fade Blackburn instead. Give me the Pirates first 5 team total over as a main thought for that one, ignoring Burrows, ignoring the entire pitching staff for Pittsburgh in the process. Moving on to the Rays against the Orioles. For this one, you have Littell against Eflin, minus 110 apiece, and you're looking at the over-under in this game being set at around 10 or 9.5. Now, for the matchup here, Littell has been fine this season, 3.78 ERA. He has been classic Littell, I'd say, performances recently, where he's giving up a lot of contact, not striking out many guys, but his overall numbers are fine. So I think Littell should go okay in this outing. As for Eflin, he's been pretty up and down, 6-4 record, but he does have a 5.46 ERA. Better at home, though, 4.32. Really bad last 2 starts, though. 8 innings pitched, 22 hits allowed, 13 earned runs, and 5 home runs. So I'm not backing Eflin in spot, especially when you factor in how much better Tampa is than Baltimore. This price is insane to me. I think Tampa should blindly be favored in this game. I don't know how this is a pick'em. Baltimore stinks. They're 12 under, they're 4 under at home. Tampa's 11 over, and they're 7 over on the road. Give me Littell in this one. Both pitchers pitch to contact. That is kind of a moot point. But Eflin has been getting torched, especially for the last 2 starts. Give me Littell to pitch decently. Should be good enough in this game. Give me Tampa to get the job done into this road game. Moving on to the Mariners taking on the Rangers. Once again, no line on this game. We have Wu against Rocker. For the lines itself, we have nothing. But for the recent form, Rocker has been better recently. Last 2 starts, 11 1/3 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed, and he actually did battle a bit against the Pirates. Had a couple of leadoff base runners he worked around, but gave up no runs. They got the win 3-2. So Rocker has been better lately. Not dominant, but he's been, I'd say, effective. He's found ways to eat some innings. As for Wu, he's been pretty good this season, 3.12 ERA, and he has given up 2 earned in his last 2 starts combined, both solo home runs against the Twins in his last start. Now, I think based on the overall, say, form of both pitchers and based on their talent, I think Wu's better than Rocker. Rocker, watching that Pittsburgh start, I had the under. That was on Saturday. It was not a pretty performance by Rocker. I think a lot of it was chalked up to, damn, these Pirates batters are really terrible. But I do think that Rocker should struggle a bit more against Seattle. Seattle's offense cooled off at the back end of that Twin series as they really did nothing the last 2 games. But I do think Seattle with Wu should have looked pretty sharp here. The Rangers might be favored in this game as the home team, and they are a decent home team as they are 23-16. But Rocker still has not been great this season. I'm not going to suddenly overreact to 2 starts where he goes about 5 innings and he battles the entire way through. Give me Wu in this one in Seattle, maybe a plus money for this matchup. Moving on to the next game, you have the Padres taking on the Reds. You have Vasquez taking on Abbott. Now, the Reds are minus 160. You have the Padres at plus 135. For the over-under in this game, I see the line being set at about 9.5 or 10. Abbott has been amazing this season, 7-1, a 1.79 ERA. Been absolutely shoving. He's allowed 2 earned runs in his last 3 starts combined, so he has been once again in peak form. Vasquez has been okay, 3.6 ERA. Good lately, though. He has given up 6 earned runs in his last 4 starts combined. For the over-under, once again, I see 9.5 or 10. Feels too high for this one. I'll go with the under. I understand it's in a hitter-friendly ballpark, and I understand that Cincinnati can, in theory, wake up offensively. Same can be said about San Diego. But I do think these pitchers are actually not that bad. Abbott's been incredible, and I think Vasquez has been quite underrated over the last month. But you're looking at the wind for this matchup. And, quickly pulling it up right now, where the Reds' wind is going to be located. Blowing out at about 6 miles per hour, about 86 degrees, bit of rain, so the weather shouldn't be that terrible. I'll go with the under. I think 10's too high. I think that these offenses can be very streaky at times, and I do think you're going to see this game finish somewhere in the potential 8-9 range. But 10 does feel pretty high with these pitchers based on current form. Give me the under for this matchup. Moving on to the Cardinals taking on the Guardians. Now, for this pitching matchup, you have Mikolas against Ciccone. For this one, you have Ciccone and the Guardians at minus 120. You have the Cardinals at even money. And for the over-under in this matchup, I do see the line being set at about 8.5. Now, some of this is going to come down to if J-Ram does play. X-rays came back negative. He got hit by a pitch yesterday. We'll see if he's going to be missing any time or not. But the point is, the Cardinals, we know, have been good at home, bad on the road. Guardians have been 3 over at home this season. Both pitchers are guys who you don't really feel great about, but their numbers are actually okay this season. Ciccone especially, who has an ERA of 3.38. It's 5.79 at home, but he's been very good lately. He has allowed less than 3 earned in 4 straight, and I feel like nobody's noticed that he's actually been really good for the last month. As for Mikolas, he pitches to contact, been good on the road, a 3.83 ERA on the road. He has allowed 2 earned runs in each of his last 2 starts. I think looking at this matchup in general, I like the under in the game. I think 8.5 is too high. I understand you could argue that one of these guys might get shelled. Window is blowing in at around 9 miles per hour, and I do think with Ciccone's recent form, Mikolas being pretty good, and maybe J-Ram not playing if he's still feeling sore with the hit by pitch. I think 8.5 is too high for these offenses, and I do think we're going to see a lower scoring game. Give me the under into this one. Moving on to the next game, you have the Blue Jays taking on the Red Sox. You have Bassett against Giolito. Toronto is minus 125. You have the Red Sox at plus 105. The over-under in this game is set at around 9. Now, Giolito this season has been fine, a 3-1, 4.53 ERA. Terrible at home, though. Does have a 7.66 ERA in Fenway. Good last couple of starts, though. Last 3 starts, 18 innings pitched, 2 earned runs combined. But once again, not great at home. Did shut down Tampa in his last home start, though, so a nice job bouncing back after that really bad outing against the Angels a couple weeks ago. For Bassett, though, he's been really good, a 3.61 ERA, but has been worse on the road, a 4.91 ERA. Last start, he was great against the White Sox, but his last road start, not as amazing. 7 innings, 4 runs against the Cardinals. For this matchup, I don't really trust Bassett that much. I think that on the road, he's been definitely worse than at home. Giolito, I don't trust either in this game. The problem is Boston really can't hit right now, and I do think they might sabotage the total by themselves. So I don't mind going for a Toronto first 5 potentially in this matchup. I think Bassett should go okay early, might struggle as it goes along. But Giolito, I've not really been sold on this season. Think that Toronto is the better offense by far at this point. Boston traded away Devers. We know Bregman's out indefinitely, and they're using Trevor Story's corpse. They have Abreu, Toro, a couple other guys, but the offense just isn't that intimidating, and I do think that Toronto has a bit more firepower. Vlad also got hit by a pitch yesterday, though, so we'll see if he misses any time or not, but the X-rays came back -2, so we'll see what happens with the extra injury report. But Boston, after watching them get swept by the Angels over the last few days, I am not interested in backing this team. Give me Toronto at around -125. I go with the first 5 as well, but it's Toronto or pass for me. I just don't trust Boston enough based on what I've seen lately. Give me Toronto, who I think just has much more firepower offensively at this point in time. Before we get into the other games on the card, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, which is MyBookie, because they're available for a ton of sports. They have the MLB cards, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. Also, use it for a ton of occasions. Use crypto for deposits, fast payouts when you sign up, though. For your new account, use the code SGPN for 110 match up to 1K. Terms and conditions, MyBookie, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Circa, because they are still hosting the Ultimate Fantasy Football Contest, because they are still giving away the Ultimate Fantasy Football Experience for a 12-person league draft in Vegas. Be sure to VIPs for their stay. Get a one more ride from the airport, a 5K tab from Stadium Swim and Hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. When you sign up, though, you could also once again, do so for free, limited time, because the contest is closing soon. But in addition to that, you could always get 15% off everything at the Circa properties with the code SGP15. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the first couple games on the card for Saturday. Time to keep rolling with the next game. Moving on to the Rockies, taking on the Brewers. For this one, you have Sanzatella against Priester. The Brewers are minus 235. Rockies are plus 195. The over-under is set at around 9 or 9.5. Now, Sanzatella has been arguably the worst starting pitcher in the entire league this season. His ERA on the road, though, is better. And you know what? He's actually turned a bit of a corner lately. He has allowed 2 earned runs in his last 2 starts combined. So maybe he's figured something out. Maybe. We'll see. But either way, the Rockies have actually won each of the last 3 starts. So maybe he has actually found something. But he still gives up a ton of contact, and I do think Milwaukee's offense can be extremely problematic matchup-wise, because they do have a lot of speed. They hit the contact, and Sanzatella does throw a ton of, I'll say, hittable pitches inside the strike zone, which can be problematic. Now, Priester has been fine this season. He was in good form. Then he got shelled by Minnesota last start. 3 1/3 innings, 9 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, but he had allowed less than 2 earned in 3 straight before that, and his home numbers have been fine, basically the same as his road numbers, but I do think that you're looking at a matchup where Priester is the better pitcher here. 235 is massive, but Milwaukee has been really good lately. The question is, do I want to go with the Rockies or do I want to go with the Brewers minus 1.5 here? I'll go Milwaukee in this one. I think that minus 120 is a pretty reasonable price fading Colorado on the road with a Milwaukee team that has been quite good lately, especially at home. Milwaukee this season is 25-16 at home. The Rockies are 10-31 on the road. Give me the Brewers minus 1.5 here at a pretty bettable price of around minus 125, give or take. But I really don't need an excuse to fade the Rockies on the road. But if you want to give me a good price on it, I'll take it. Minus 120, actually, for the Brewers on the run line for that game. Moving on to the Dodgers taking on the Royals. Now, for this matchup, you have Ohtani pitching and starting, technically, probably for about an inning, but either way. You have Lugo pitching for Kansas City. The Dodgers are minus 165. The Royals are plus 140. The over-under is set at about 9.5 or 10. Now, for the weather, since it is in Kansas City, you have to assume the wind will play a factor because it's a total of 10 in Kansas City. But to read off the actual weather, blowing out at about 9 miles per hour to left field. Having said that, the question is, will Kansas City do enough to actually hit in order to generate runs? Because Kansas City has scored less than 3 runs in 5 straight games. I like the under in the game. I get that the Dodgers could go crazy. Maybe you want to go for the Royals team total under in this game. But this team can't hit to save their lives, and the total's at 10. Does feel pretty high to me, so I am going to go with the under in this game. We saw a similar win scenario against the Rays yesterday, and not only did Kansas City struggle to actually go over the total, they didn't score in the entire game, and the wind was blowing out heavily in the same ballpark. So based on that, give me the Dodgers minus the 1.5 here. If you want to go for maybe a first 5, I don't hate it. Ohtani, though, has not looked that sharp as a pitcher this season. Should go 1 inning. But I do think there's some value on the Dodgers. I don't mind the under, though, in this game. 10 with the Royals, it's a massive number. It's a really, really high number for a Royals team that cannot hit to save their lives. Give me the under for that matchup. Moving on to the next game, Giants taking on the White Sox. Giants not playing great baseball as they lost a series at home to the Marlins. As for the White Sox, they are bad in general as they are 29 games overall. Only 6 games under, though, at home. For the pitching matchup, you have Ray against Hauser. Ray and the Giants minus 175. The White Sox are plus 145. The over-under in this game is set at a pretty reasonable number of about 8.5. Now, Hauser this season has been very good after he got signed up off the street. He has a 2-2 record, a 2.27 ERA. His ERA at home, though, 0.75. He's been really good As for Ray, solid season as well, and you're looking at what could be a pretty interesting matchup, which could be low scoring between these teams. For the weather, though, and the wind especially, because it is in Chicago, want to point out that the wind is blowing in at around 7 miles per hour. I like the under. I think 8.5 feels a bit high for a total. I think it should be closer to 7.5 in my opinion. Give me the under in this game. I don't want to lay 175 with the Giants based on their recent form. Instead, I'll back the offenses to do nothing in this pretty underrated pitchers matchup. Give me the under, 8.5 as my main play for that one. Moving on to the next game, you have the Marlins taking on the Diamondbacks. So in this game, you have a matchup between Alcantara and Fod. For the money line, Diamondbacks minus 155, the Marlins are plus 130. For the over-under in this game, I do see it being set at around 8.5, a little bit of juice there to the over. Now, Fod has been pretty up and down this season. He has not been amazing lately, so I do want to point that out. His last 5 starts, he has been a mess. 22 earned runs in 18 innings, which has been very, very bad. So Fod definitely has been regressing after having a great start to the season. As for his opposing pitcher here, Alcantara has been the opposite. Alcantara was awful to start the season, and he's been really good lately. He's allowed just 7 earned in his last 4 starts combined. So I actually like Miami in this game. I think Alcantara's turned it around. Fod I'm not a fan of, and I think Miami can find ways to potentially steal a game or two in the series. Arizona has underachieved. We know Carroll's still injured, and you're looking at a starting pitcher in Fod who has been underwhelming for the last month or so. Give me the Marlins with Alcantara at plus 130. I think there's some value in that spot. Moving on to the Phillies taking on the Braves. For this game, you have a matchup which should be interesting. You have Luzardo against Schwellenbach here. The Braves are minus 160. Phillies are plus 135. For the over-under in this game, I do see the line being set at around 8.5. For the actual weather in this game, which I am going to mention briefly, in Atlanta, blowing in at around 4 miles per hour or so from right to left. Now, Luzardo has had a pretty weird year because he was in great form. Then he got shelled in 2 straight outings, and he's been pretty good since, as he has allowed less than 2 earned in 2 of his last 3 starts. So he's off a great outing as he gave up no runs against the Mets in 6 2/3. So it seems like he got his mojo back. For Schwellenbach, he's been good this season as well. So the question is, will he be able to keep it rolling against the Phillies? Phillies, though, had a series from hell against the Astros. They scored 1 run in the entire series. So they got swept, obviously. So now we're going to see if they bounce back or not. For Schwellenbach, though, he's been good. He has allowed less than 3 earned in 2 of his last 3 starts. So once again, broken record. Give me the under in this game. I think Luzardo can go well. I think Schwellenbach can go well too. Philly's offense on the road has been quite underwhelming this season. And you're looking at the injuries they have. And the fact is the Braves have been underachieving offensively all season. I think it'll be a low-scoring pitchers duel between these rivals. Give me the under at 8.5 for this matchup. Moving on to the second game with no lines, we have the Cubs taking on the Astros. For this one, you have Rhea against We Don't Know. We're assuming We Don't Know is going to be favored because the game is in Houston. Rhea this season has been up and down, 4-3, 4.42 ERA. To be honest, I have nothing. Rhea was not good his last outing, 5 1/3, 11 hits, 7 runs, 4 home runs against Seattle. That was a crazy Wrigley win game, though, so you might be able to toss it out. But the point is, he has really not been amazing so far this season. To mention his actual numbers in general for splits, a 4.53 ERA at home, a 4.25 ERA on the road. So basically the same pitcher, does pitch to contact, but I think Houston, based on how they're playing at home, being 30-13 at home, I'll pick them, but I can't, of course, bet it because I don't have a line or an actual listed pitcher for Houston. But give me the Astros at home for that one. Moving on to the final game, you have the Nationals taking on the Angels. You have Soroka taking on Hendricks. Pretty bad pitchers matchup on paper. For the money line, Angels minus 130. Nationals are plus 110. For the over-under, I see 9 for this game. Bit of juice there to the over. Wind is blowing out at around 8 miles per hour to right center field. For the matchup, Hendricks, as I said before, has been quite underwhelming. I will point out he hasn't been better lately, giving up 5 earned runs in his last 3 starts combined, but he did give up some damage. 8 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned against Houston in his last outing. So we'll see if he turns it around. He has not been particularly good for the last couple years, but he's been fine this season. Soroka, though, has been, I'd say, a bit underwhelming, but I guess not too terrible. He hasn't been a complete waste of time, but he's not been good. A 5.06 ERA, a 5.93 ERA on the road. Last couple outings has not been good. He has allowed at least 3 runs in 3 straight starts. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in 6 of his last 7. So based on that, I do think he'll give up some damage. I don't mind the over, actually, in this game. Think that 9 is actually pretty cheap when you factor in the guys that the Nationals have with Wood, with Abrams. They have some pieces who can definitely do some damage, and I do think Soroka might struggle again. I don't mind the over. You might have an opportunity to end up getting a push minimum if it ends up at 4-4. So if you end up getting some extra innings, you might automatically be free rolling. But I do think for the price itself, the Angels feel fine at minus 130 based on Soroka's current form. So I'll go with the Angels, but I prefer the over in the game. Give me runs in that matchup. Going to wrap it up, though, for the show and or for the actual preview of the games for Saturday. Now it's time to get into the lock and dog picks. Before we get into the lock and dog, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, which is Underdog Fans, because they're still doing Best Ball Mania, which is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million for first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best place to play fantasy football. Also have great options for pick'ems. When you sign up, though, for your new account, use the code MLB SGPN. They get a special pick and different times that offer up to $1K in bonus cash. On fantasy promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, because they just dropped the interesting feature called Powered Trends, added ticket patterns. Rhythm's models have consistently one of a high ROI. They also are available every day. They're updated every day, exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noises, clean dead by picks. Download the app, check out Powered Trends, start betting smarter. And a reminder, you'd also get a free week trial by going to sportsgamepodcast.com's Rhythm to get your 7-day free trial. That's sportsgamepodcast.com/RATHMM. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through all the games on the card for Saturday. Now it's time for the lock and dog. For the matchups itself, I liked a bunch of unders on the card, actually. I know what I want to do for my dog. For the lock, Santel has been decent lately, but I don't mind Milwaukee for that one. But instead, I have a couple of options I can play with here. What do I want to go with? Do I trust the Reds and the Padres to actually pitch well in this matchup? I think I do. I'm going to go with the under in that Reds game. The line just feels pretty high to me. I can understand if you want to argue that it might be a game that could potentially explode. Maybe. But you're looking at Abbott, who's been a lunatic at 1.79 ERA. Vasquez, though, has been fine recently. Weather should not be that great as well. Don't mind the under in that game as my lock. Once again, you can find the best price at 10 at minus 112 on FanDuel. I'll take that as my lock. For my dog, I'm going to go to, it's going to be a potential run line or a money line. Do I want the Nationals to do some potential damage here? Maybe, but I don't think I trust Soroka enough, so I'll pass on that. Miami I thought about, because Alcantara has been really good lately. Could be an option there where Fod has not been good. I think I'll take that approach, actually. I also could have gone with the run line for the... actually, you know what? Do I want to change my lock at the last minute? I said the under for that Reds game. I forgot that I did have another game that I did like. I think I am going to swap it. Give me Tampa on the money line at minus 110. So I don't mind the under in that Reds game, but I am going to change my mind. My official lock on the show is Tampa money line. I was going to do that before. I forgot to. But Eflin's been horrific. You're looking at his last 2 starts. He's given up a total of 13 earned runs. You're looking at Littell, who's been fine. Tampa's a good team. Baltimore is not, so apologies that I forgot about that earlier. But my lock for the show will be the Rays money line at minus 110. I think the price is wrong. For the dog, give me Miami first 5 money line, taking on the Diamondbacks. I think Alcantara goes fine. I do think that you're looking at a pitcher in Fod who just has not been able to piece it together recently, and I do think it can be a pretty problematic situation for Arizona. Miami might win by scoring 1 run if Alcantara ends up shoving, but instead, I'm going to go with the Marlins money line in the first 5. Don't believe I have a line on that yet, so apologies if you were looking for one. But either way, give me the Marlins first 5 money line as my dog for the show. Now it's time for the home run picks for the actual show. Who do I want to fade when it comes to, by the way, it was announced that the Pirates are going to be using Falter as the starter on Saturday. So I don't mind Pittsburgh money line in that game as well. Falter's been pretty good, but it has been announced he will be getting the start. So for the actual home runs, I think I have to fade Ober, who's been so bad. He's allowed 10 home runs in his last 4 starts. It's been a mess. He's given up 8 home runs in his last 3 starts. Who has owned him historically? Looking at the numbers here, I'm not going to go with Keith. Torque's been really bad. 2 for 19. I mean, that's just a mess. Okay, let me just quickly see how he's done against lefties and righties. Lefties have homered pretty decently against them. The question is, do I actually trust Riley Green or Carpenter to go a yard in this matchup? Let me just see how Green's been doing lately. He's not hit a home run in a while, but it could be a decent matchup for him there. Let me just see his home and road splits. He has been better on the road for Green. Let me see Carpenter for the stats. He's been bad against Ober, but maybe he can figure it out. Okay, sorry, let me just quickly check this. He's been better at home. Yeah, you know what? Even though the head-to-head numbers are bad against him, I might do it anyway because Ober's been in an absolute just free fall lately. Give me Carpenter. Give me Kerry Carpenter home run against Ober as my choice for the home run pick for this one. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Back once again on Sunday. Hopefully, I have a co-host for that show. Until next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bats. Bye, everyone.